Are you sure God made enough to go around?
There's plenty of goodness in God's creation. You know, some of the poorest countries in Latin America, and in Africa, in Asia, some of the poorest countries are really very rich in natural resources, very rich. The question is, who takes advantage of those resources? I was recently in Kenya. I was taken to a place from which we could see a lot of the land that has been, I can't think of the term, deforested. Uh, and I asked, what are those lands used for? Well, to grow tea. Grow tea. Yes, we have big plantations of tea. You know, Kenya has to import food. Many, many, many people are going hungry. There are people who die of hunger. Well, who is benefiting from the plantations of tea? I asked that. I was told, well, most of the tea goes to England and to the US. Big companies own those plantations, or corrupt politicians, the ones who sign the agreements for the companies to exploit that land in that way. Don't you think that is institutionalized injustice? Very much so. That happens not only in Kenya. It happens in many, many countries, poor countries, in Africa, in Latin America, and in Asia today.
You have to run for politician and in order to have a voice, or what can I do?
I really don't have much confidence in what politicians can do. I still intellectually accept that it may be that Christians get involved in party politics in order to change things. I still have my doubts that much can be done that way. I think the beginning of real change, radical change, has to be at the grassroots level. People like you and me have to start where we are, with little things, little projects, opening our eyes and responding to human needs around us. And God may multiply that. Of course, we are not alone. You know, oftentimes we think only in terms of what can I do? Well, maybe you as an individual cannot do very much, but you are a part of a Christian community. And the Christian community means the possibility of joining efforts and working together so that the gospel is demonstrated in terms of good works.
Do you have any pharaohs?
Pharaohs. I have no greater pharaoh than myself sometimes. And by God's grace, I have to make sure that time after time that pharaoh is put down. And that Jesus Christ is confessed as my Lord, and I am living according to that confession.
What's your strategy for love?
Love comes from the Spirit of God. I cannot force myself to love. But you know, many years ago I learned this, that in the New Testament there is a commandment to love. That is a commandment. But the one who commands gives the power to enable us to fulfill the command. And I think we have to come time after time to the presence of God and ask Him to fill us with His love, to awaken in us the compassion that characterized Jesus Christ Himself. And I think we learn to love. We learn to love. And it's something that, you know, we never finish learning. I oftentimes have said the church has one main function: to teach people to love. And no one ever graduates from that school, the school of love.